A few months ago, I put a video here on YouTube, which was a long-term review of the Garmin Dashcam 67W. I like it, but in that video, I recommended you don't buy it because there were so many features on there that you just don't need. So I recommended that for most people, you just get the Dashcam Mini 2, which is almost half the price and has everything you really need. There was a lot of conversations and a lot of discussions on the comments about that video, but most of them were not about the Dashcam and the recommendation and the choice of Dashcam that I made. Most of them were about a statement I made roughly halfway through that video. I have sound recording off. That got a lot of you very interested. I could probably break those comments down into three key categories. Firstly, the ability for you to verbally state and describe what's going on in front of you, say a license plate that you see. Secondly, for audible evidence to be captured by that track. The third one was the one that probably generated the most heated conversation, which is the ability to be able to record a conversation with a police officer during a traffic stop at the driver's window of your vehicle. That generated a lot of comments. So in this video, we're going to go through all three of those and make some recommendations at the end. But let me start by giving some reason why I chose to have audio recording off, at the time of that video at least. And that is because most of the time a Dashcam is not recording an incident. Most of the time it's just recording nothing at all. It's just recording all the mundane stuff that happens in front of your vehicle or maybe behind you if you've got one at the back. But if you turn the audio recording on as well, then it's also going to capture the conversations in your car. And that's where I think there's a privacy issue, because in general, people don't want their conversations, whether they're really private conversations or just regular conversations, people don't generally want them being recorded. So there are some legal implications here as well, and most of that comes down to privacy. It's different for every country, and here in the US, it's different for some states. So most states have what's called one-party consent. Let's assume here it's your Dashcam in your vehicle, and you are one of the parties in the conversation, and the fact that you've turned on audio recording, you've got one-party consent. It's you. But there are some states where you need to have two-party consent or all-party consent. Everyone who's in that conversation needs to be aware that it's being recorded and give you consent. If you live in one of those states and you're aware of this, what do? Put some in the comments below. I'm really keen to understand it. Going over to Europe, you have a lot of different countries, a lot of different laws. Some countries allow you to have dash cams, others forbid them. Some countries allow you to have audio recording, others forbid audio recording. So check your own country's regulations, because I'm certainly not here to advise you on that. But this really is the fundamental concern with recording audio on a dash cam. The purpose of a dash cam is to record nothing until an incident happens. That's the nature of how a dash cam works. A dash cam isn't designed or intended to be recording your conversations. But in order for it to be able to be recording before, during, and after an incident, it has to be continuously recording on a loop. As a consequence of that, it's going to be recording the conversations that take place in your vehicle pretty much at any time. So that's the legal side of it. There's also another side of it, which is this. You yourself may not want to have private conversations being recorded and captured and put onto a memory card, because ultimately that's what's happening when it's being recorded. Garmin dash cams, and I think other dash cams as well, do not have any form of password protection or encryption on the data that's on their memory cards. That means that anyone who can get access to that memory card has unfettered access to the conversations that have been recorded on it. That could be a criminal who is stealing your vehicle. It could be a criminal who's broken into your vehicle and is stealing the dash cam. I understand that happens quite a lot. It could be the guy valet parking your vehicle while you're having a nice dinner. It could be the guy who is working on your vehicle at the dealership whilst he's servicing it. I'm not saying this is normally the case, because it isn't. But if you're having a private conversation, you've got to understand that it is being recorded on a memory card. I have got a solution for how you can minimize that without too much fuss, but I'll get to that in the summary later on. You may also have some own privacy concerns about doing this. You may, if you and your family know that conversations are being recorded, that might limit the conversations that you have, or limit the way in which you have those conversations. On top of that, I might sing in my truck occasionally on my own. Can't believe I admitted to that, but hey, it's only YouTube, right? Do I really want that recording to get out there? Probably not. So let's look at those three buckets and just break them down a bit. The first one is verbal evidence. During an incident, you are in a position where you can talk to what you're seeing and describe what is going on around you. And that can be something basic like, it is a blue Nissan that's involved, it's a red Ford that's involved, there are 3 people in that car, there's a dog in the back of that truck. The video camera should be able to capture a lot of this sort of stuff, but sometimes it might be out of shot and other times it might be blurred. So particularly in the case of a license plate. So it's probably a good idea to just speak and describe a lot of what is going on. Now, keep in mind, during any sort of traffic incident, you're probably going to be quite stressed, which means your descriptions are probably going to involve choice words around idiot, muppet, what is that fool doing? Pick your expletive of choice. It's really up to you what you choose to do. But at the end of the day, you are going to be able to verbalize as much of that incident as possible, knowing that it's all being recorded. Number two is audio evidence. Let's say you're in a situation where somebody drifts into you and they claim that you were changing lanes without using your directionals. If you're using your indicators, there should be a click, click, click sound, or if it's a Ford, it'll be not a click sound, but anyway, you'll have some form of indication that your directionals are on, which should be able to help your case demonstrate that actually you were indicating to move from one lane to another. If you were hit at the back of your vehicle, which a forward-facing dash cam, of course, is not going to pick up the video of that, but it is going to pick up the movement of your car under that impact, and it's also going to pick up the sound of the impact as well, and your expletives of choice as it happens. A lot of this stuff, but not all of it, should be captured by the video, but it's always going to reinforce a video story if you've got the audio story that goes with it. Number three, the police. So I'm going to split this one into two. The main one, and the main point of the comments was, when a police officer stops you at a traffic stop and comes up to your driver's window and starts having a conversation with you, you want the ability to be able to record all of that conversation so you have a record of it. You should keep in mind, though, that some dash cams, including Garmin ones, will switch off when you shut off your engine. So if the traffic officer asks you to shut off your engine and you comply with that request, the chances are your dash cam will record for 1 or 2 seconds and then it will shut off and then you will not have a recording at all. Secondly, when it comes to the police and law enforcement, in all states in the US, the police are able to request the footage from a dash cam to help with a report of an incident and potentially the investigation as well. Which means anything you say or anything that's recorded on that dash cam footage could be used in evidence potentially against you. You don't buy a dash cam for that reason. You buy a dash cam because you are assuming that everything that's going to happen is somebody else's fault. You are the person who's in the right and the dash cam is going to prove it. But keep in mind, a dash cam is impartial. It's going to record everything, the video and the audio, whether it's in your best interests or not. So there is a situation where a dash cam can record something that you have caused, and therefore the evidence that you have recorded could potentially incriminate you if an investigation got to a court of law. So as a result of all the conversations in the comments and the research and thinking I've done for this particular video, a few weeks ago I actually turned the audio recording on my dash cam, which is the reverse of what I said in my video a couple of months back. My only real concern is privacy of conversations. I'm less concerned about audible evidence being used against me in an incident. I'm more concerned about private conversations, such as between me and members of my family, being on a memory card, unencrypted when that vehicle goes for a service or it's valet parked or potentially it's stolen. My solution to that is I've taken out the 128 gigabyte memory card and I've replaced it with a 32 megabyte memory card. A dash cam is going to constantly record over the footage that it previously recorded when that memory card's full. So if I have a smaller memory card, it's still big enough for, let's say, 2 to 3 days of normal driving and normal recordings, but that's 4 times less than when I had a 128 gigabyte memory card. Now, I did have a conversation with some people who said, you just pull the memory card out every week and wipe it. I'm not going to do that. I'm just not going to do that. I'm not that organized. One thing I like about a dash cam is it turns on when I turn the engine on and it turns off when I turn the engine off, and I can forget about it. So the thought of pulling the memory card and formatting it every week, it's not going to happen. So this is my solution, smaller memory card. So in summary then, there are 3 points that I take from this. 1, if you want to record the audio during an incident, either yourself or evidence, you need to turn the audio recording on. If you're concerned about privacy of conversations, just use a much smaller memory card. 2, if your primary reason for recording audio is to make sure you're capturing a conversation with a police officer during a traffic stop, do keep in mind that if you switch off your engine, you will lose the ability to record and you'll have to find some alternative means of doing that recording. And thirdly, if you have any serious privacy concerns about the conversations in your vehicle, just turn the audio off. Most of what you're going to get from a dash cam is going to be the video evidence anyway. The audio evidence is going to help augment, reinforce it, or maybe it won't. So at the end of the day, if you're really concerned about it, just leave it switched off. Anyway, thank you to all of you that took part in the comments and the discussion a few weeks ago on this topic. If you've got any more thoughts on it or anything that we've missed, please do put them in the comments below. I love interacting and reading those comments. And thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.